Dear students, this is the session on parasympatholytic agents. In the previous two sessions, we have discussed parasympathomimetic drugs. Parasympathomimetic drug, they stimulate muscarinic or nicotinic or both of the receptors. Their muscarinic action can be summarized as with the help of one mnemonic misloved DHR. MISLUBD misloved DHR. The full form of misloved DHR is MI for meiosis, S denotes salivation, L for lacrimation, B for bronchoconstriction, urination and defecation. DHR denotes decreased heart rate. So whatever the effect misloved, they are executed through stimulation of M3 receptors. DHR, decreased heart rate and other cardiac effects are executed through M2 receptor stimulation, while M1 receptor stimulation causes histamine release in stomach and show CNS action. So this is all about muscarinic effect of acetylcholine. Acetylcholine also stimulate nicotinic receptor, NM receptor and NM receptor. NM receptors are located at the end of neuromuscular junction at skeletal muscle, and NN receptor are present on autonomic ganglia. So with this all we have discussed in parasympathomimetic agent. Now we are switching over to parasympatholytic agent. As far as parasympatholytic term is concerned, the books have described different terms regarding it. First is parasympatholytic agents. Other term is anticholinergic agent. One term is anti-muscarinic agent, ganglion blocker, neuromuscular blocking agent, and skeletal muscle relaxant. Are these terms are same or do they convey the different meaning? This all we will discuss here. Parasympatholytic agent. Parasympathomimetic agent stimulate both of the receptor muscarinic as well as nicotinic. So a true parasympatholytic agent is that will antagonize both of the receptors, muscarinic as well as nicotinic. But truly there is no such type of parasympatholytic agent is present nowadays. On the other hand, parasympatholytic means which lies the parasympathetic system. That is also not true. No drug lies the parasympathetic system. So actually this term is not correct in true sense. Anticholinergic agent, this is the second term. Anticholinergic agent is also not true because there is no such agent which antagonize both of the receptors, muscarinic as well as nicotinic. So what is available? Available is anti-muscarinic agent. The agents are available which antagonize only muscarinic receptor. They don't antagonize, or if they do very little amount. So they antagonize muscarinic receptor basically. For example, atropine. Atropine is the prototype of anti-muscarinic agent. Ganglion blocker drugs, they block N receptor. Okay. Neuromuscular blocking agent, they block NM receptor. So neuromuscular blocking agent is when they block NM receptor, skeletal muscle undergo relaxation, because NM receptor stimulation causes skeletal muscle contraction. When the NM receptor are blocked, skeletal muscle undergoes relaxation. So neuromuscular blocking agents, actually they are skeletal muscle relaxant agent. But apart from neuromuscular blocking agent, they are another type of skeletal muscle relaxant agent are also available. So neuromuscular blocking agent are one of the type of skeletal muscle relaxant agent. So this is all about these different terms. So in this session we will discuss mainly anti-muscarinic agent, that is atropine and atropine like drugs. Okay. This is the classification of anti-muscarinic drug or atropine like drugs. In loose term, we also call anti-muscarinic agent anticholinergic agent. But better term is always anti-muscarinic agent because they antagonize only muscarinic receptor. They do not antagonize nicotinic receptor, any of the nicotinic receptor. So these anti-muscarinic agents are classified into three groups basically on the basis of their source. Few are the natural alkaloid, atropine and hyoscine. Atropine is the prototype of anti-muscarinic agent, and hyoscine is the another drug. It is also called as scopolamine. This hyoscine you have read in physiology. Transdermal patch of hyoscine, or you have read it in 11th 12th class also. Hyoscine, transdermal patch of hyoscine are applied behind the pinna to avoid motion sickness felt during journey, traveling, sea traveling, ship traveling, or traveling in hilly area. These transdermal patches of hyoscines are applied behind the pinna. Second group is semi-synthetic derivatives. In these type of derivatives, some chemical moiety are added to the natural alkaloids and semi-synthetic derivatives are obtained. Examples are homeotropine, benchtropine, ipratropium bromide, and tiotropium bromide. These are the semi-synthetic derivatives. Next group is synthetic derivatives. These are manufactured in pharmaceutical company. They are totally synthetic. Examples are tropicamide, cyclopentolate. These two drugs, tropicamide and cyclopentolate, are mydriatic agent. They causes pupillary dilatation in eye. Okay. Second group in synthetic derivatives are oxybutynine, flavoxate, and tolterodine. They relaxes detrusor muscle of bladder. They are antispasmodic muscle relaxant. They relaxes smooth muscles. Oxybutynine, flavoxate, and tolterodine. They are antispasmodic. Third group in synthetic derivative is pyrangiapine and telangiapine. We have discussed in brief in the previous session. They are M1 receptor antagonist. They block M1 receptor present in gastric cell in stomach. So gastric acid synthesis, histamine release is inhibited in stomach. So they are used in treatment of peptic ulcer. In second group, we discuss semi-synthetic derivatives, ipratropium bromide and tiotropium bromide. They are used in treatment of bronchial asthma and COPD because they cause bronchodilation. So they are used in treatment of COPD and bronchial asthma. Now this is the slide which shows the effect of acetylcholine through muscarinic receptor. As we have discussed, misloved DHR, this is the mnemonic we use to remember effect of acetylcholine through muscarinic receptors. MI denotes meiosis, then salivation, lacrimation, urination, bronchoconstriction and defecation, and DHR denote decreased heart rate. And apart from decreased heart rate, they also cause AV conduction delay, because when they act upon SA node, heart rate is decreased. That is called as negative inotropic action, negative chronotropic action. Okay, decreased heart rate by acting upon SA node, it causes the negative chronotropic action. Atrial contraction are decreased, that is called as negative inotropic action, and AV conduction is delayed, that is called as negative dromotropic action. So acetylcholine is cardiac depressant drug. So misloved is because of M3 receptor stimulation, DHR is because of M2 receptor stimulation, and because of M1 receptor stimulation, gastric secretion is increased and CNS action are also seen. So these are the muscarinic effect in body. Misloved is because of M3 action, DHR and other cardiac depressant are effect because of M2 receptor stimulation, while the gastric secretion and CNS action, this is because of M1 receptor stimulation. So how the anti-muscarinic drug act, how the atropine and atropine-like drug act? They antagonize muscarinic receptor. This is how the atropine and atropine-like drug act. They antagonize M1 receptor, M2 receptor or M3 receptor. All of the receptors are antagonized, or if they are selective in nature, they antagonize any one of the muscarinic receptor. For example, atropine antagonize all the receptors, all the muscarinic receptor M1, M2 and M3. Pyrangiapine, telangiapine, they are the selective M1 receptor. They antagonize only M1 receptor. They do not block M2 and M3 receptor. So when they antagonize these receptor, so effect produced by these drug is just reverse to muscarinic drug. For example, M1 receptor stimulation causes gastric secretion. So when you will use M1 receptor antagonist drug like pyrangiapine, telangiapine, gastric secretion is inhibited. M3 receptor stimulation causes meiosis, pupil will undergo constriction. When you antagonize M3 receptor in eye, in iris, pupil will undergo mydriasis. That's why the effect produced by atropine like drug, effect produced by anti-muscarinic drug will be just reverse of the acetylcholine. So what will be the effect produced by anti-muscarinic drug or atropine drugs? They will produce mydriasis, just opposite to meiosis. Acetylcholine causes salivation, but atropine will cause dry mouth because of reduced secretion of salivation. Muscarinic drug will cause lacrimation, but atropine will cause dry eye because of reduced synthesis of tears. Muscarinic drug is causing urination. Urine is void out. Urine is passed out because of muscarinic receptor stimulation. But atropine and atropine-like drug will cause urine retention. Urine is not passed out, so urine will retain in urinary bladder because detrusor muscle of bladder walls are relaxed because of atropine. Muscarinic drug causes bronchoconstriction, but atropine will cause bronchodilation. That's why atropine-like drugs are used in treatment of bronchial asthma and COPD. In these diseases, bronchial tree will undergo bronchoconstriction. With the help of atropine-like drug, we will produce bronchodilation in these clinical conditions. Muscarinic receptor stimulation causes defecation or diarrhea will be produced because of intestinal muscles will undergo contraction, but atropine and atropine like drugs will cause constipation because of intestinal muscle, smooth muscle will undergo relaxation. So the effect produced by anti-muscarinic drug will be just opposite to effect produced by muscarinic drug. They will cause mydriasis, they will cause dry mouth, they will cause dry eye, they will cause urine retention, they will cause constipation, they will cause bronchodilation. Muscarinic drug will cause decreased heart rate. Bradycardia will be produced because of the muscarinic drug. But anti-muscarinic drug, that is atropine, will cause tachycardia, increased heart rate. Muscarinic drug causes AV conduction delay. AV conduction is decreased, that is negative dromotropic effect. But atropine will cause AV conduction fast. It causes fast conduction of electric impulses from SA node to AV node. Muscarinic drug will cause gastric secretion, but M1 receptor antagonism will cause inhibition of gastric secretion. That's why they are used in peptic ulcer. So this is the basic concept. What will be the effect of anti-muscarinic drug or atropine drugs? And these pharmacological effect will form the basis of their therapeutic uses. We will discuss later on. So these are the pharmacological effect of anti-muscarinic drug we have already discussed. Opposite to meiosis, that is mydriasis. Opposite to salivation, dry mouth. Opposite to lacrimation, dry eye. Opposite to urination, urine retention. Urine will be retained. It will not pass out through bladder. So urine is retained in bladder. Opposite to bronchoconstriction, that is bronchodilation. Opposite to defecation, opposite to diarrhea is constipation. Opposite to bradycardia is tachycardia. Opposite to AV conduction delay is AV conduction increases. And opposite to gastric secretion stimulation is gastric secretion decreases. So these are the pharmacological effect of anti-muscarinic drug. Okay. So now we will discuss therapeutic uses of anti-muscarinic drug with help of their pharmacological effect we have discussed. As we have discussed, anti-muscarinic drug or atropine will cause mydriasis. They will cause pupillary dilatation. As we have discussed in the previous session, in iris two type of muscles are present. One is circular muscles and second type is radial muscles or longitudinal muscles. Both are same thing. Radial muscles and longitudinal muscles are same thing. Circular muscles are supplied by parasympathetic nerve. When parasympathetic nerve supply is more, parasympathetic discharge is more, they will cause contraction of circular muscles because circular muscles are supplied by parasympathetic nerve. And when circular muscles are contracted, people will undergo meiosis. Second type of muscle is radial muscles or longitudinal muscle. They are supplied by sympathetic nerve. When sympathetic nerve is stimulated, radial muscle get contracted. Because of that effect, people will undergo mydriasis. So what happens? Normally, tone of sympathetic nerve is equivalent to tone of parasympathetic nerve. So normally, in normal situation, there is no meiosis, no mydriasis. But when parasympathetic drug is given, what happens? When the parasympathetic drug is given, it will stimulate of circular muscles. So in iris, parasympathetic tone is higher than sympathetic nerve. So circular muscle get contracted. That is, so they produce meiosis because parasympathetic tone is high as compared to sympathetic tone of iris muscle. And parasympathetic tone causes pupillary meiosis. So meiosis is produced. But when you give anti-muscarinic drug, the parasympathetic tone is reduced, it is decreased. So as compared to sympathetic tone, parasympathetic tone of iris is reduced. So sympathetic tone is high, which causes mydriasis. But this mydriasis is produced because of reduction of parasympathetic tone. So this is passive meiosis. In other condition, when you administer sympathetic drug like phenylephrine, when you administer phenylephrine, and phenylephrine is sympathetic nerve, it will increase the sympathetic tone in eye. So sympathetic tone is increased, so that it will produce mydriasis. But this mydriasis is active mydriasis because it is actively increasing the tone of radial muscle. So this is active mydriasis, while the mydriasis produced by anti-muscarinic drug is passive mydriasis, because that passive mydriasis is because of reduction of sympathetic tone. But mydriasis produced by phenylephrine, that is a sympathetic drug, that mydriasis is because of increasing the tone. So this is the difference between mydriasis produced by atropine and mydriasis produced by phenylephrine. One produces passive mydriasis, other produces active mydriasis. So passive mydriasis is produced by unopposed sympathetic dilator activity. Apart from mydriasis, they also cause cycloplasia because they relax ciliary muscle. When the ciliary muscles are relaxed, they cause cycloplasia. If you can remember, parasympathetic drug causes excessive contraction of ciliary body. So they will cause cyclospasm. Spasm means excessive stimulation of ciliary body. Here the contraction are relaxed, contraction are decreased. So ciliary muscle undergoes relaxation. So this is cycloplasia. In case of parasympathetic drugs, they will produce cyclospasm, excessive stimulation of ciliary muscle. And because of the upper two factors, mydriasis and cycloplasia, the iris will stick to lens. So the passage of aqueous humor is obstructed. So that will precipitate glaucoma in the high risk individual. Intraocular pressure rises, that will precipitate glaucoma in the high risk individual. This is the reason why the glucomatous patient should not be given atropine and atropine like drugs. And atropine like drugs also causes dry eye because they reduces lacrimation. Next effect of atropine is reduces salivation. Dicyclomine is the drug. Dicyclomine is anti-muscarinic drug that is used in treatment of hypersalivation that is found in Parkinsonism. What is the effect of atropine like drug on genitourinary system? As we have discussed, parasympathetic drug causes urination, so they passes urine out of the bladder. They causes voiding of urine, but here the actions of parasympathetic system is antagonized, so urine is retained in bladder because of relaxation of detrusor muscle of bladder and contraction of trigone of bladder. So voiding is slowed, they causes urine retention. This property of urine retention is used in treatment of urine incontinence with neurological disorders. Urine incontinence means the patient cannot hold urine. Urine is passed involuntary. He or she cannot hold urine. So in treatment of these condition, you have to retain urine in bladder. So we'll use atropine like drug like oxybutynin, flavoxate and tolterodine. They are selective to M3 receptor, so their adverse effects are less as compared to atropine, because atropine will antagonize all of the muscarinic receptor, but these drug oxybutynin, flavoxate and tolterodine, they antagonize M3 receptors. Next organ is bronchi. As we have discussed, parasympathetic drug causes bronchoconstriction. So antimuscarinic drug will cause bronchodilation. But apart from bronchodilation, they will also drive mucus secretion in bronchi. So mucus plug is formed in bronchi. So because of the property of bronchodilation, they are useful in treatment of COPD and asthma. On the other hand, because of drying of mucus secretion, they are harmful for treatment of asthma. Because mucus plug is formed, so there is difficulty in respiratory functions. So atropine is not used in treatment of asthma and COPD. Selective antagonists are used like ipratropium and tiotropium, as we have discussed already. They are given in the inhalation form. Through inhalation process, these drug ipratropium and tiotropium, they are administered directly in the lungs. So their adverse effects are minimized because their systemic absorption is less. When their systemic absorption is less, their systemic adverse effects are less. One important thing is to consider here, anti-muscarinic drug ipratropium, tiotropium, which are used in respiratory disorders, they are more helpful in treatment of COPD as compared to asthma, because in COPD parasympathetic tone is important, it is significant, while in asthma sympathetic tone is significant. So as compared to asthma, ipratropium and tiotropium are more useful in COPD. So they are used in COPD, but there is a limitation, as we have discussed, mucus plug formation. Because of the bronchodilator property, they are also used as pre-anesthetic medication. As you know very well, before the surgery, anesthesia are used. And for betterment of anesthesia, some of the agents are used as a pre-anesthetic medication. Along with, they are used with anesthesia. These agents are used, anti-muscarinic agents are used as a pre-anesthetic medication. They reduces laryngospasm during general anesthesia, because general anesthesia causes laryngospasm. They causes constriction of laryngeal muscles, and because they causes relaxation, they reduces laryngospasm, so they are used as a pre-anesthetic agent. Apart from it, they reduces excessive vagal effect on heart. Vagal effect is parasympathetic effect, and these effects are reduced by parasympatholytic agent or anti-muscarinic agent. So because of these two property, atropine like drugs are used as a pre-anesthetic agent, and more commonly used agent is glycopyrrolate. Other organ, next organ is gastrointestinal system. On gastrointestinal system, in stomach, on paracrine cell, M1 receptor stimulation. M1 receptor is present. Stimulation of M1 receptor on paracrine cell, gastric acid secretion is increased. So when you inhibit, when they antagonize, gastric acid secretion is decreased. When the while the M3 receptors are present on the intestinal cell, stimulation of M3 receptor will cause contraction. So the fluid, the matter will pass out, they will cause defecation. But when the M3 receptors are blocked, they are antagonized, it will produce constipation. In which condition this property is used? In treatment of peptic ulcer. Previously, propenthaline and glycopyrrolates were used in treatment of peptic ulcer, but propenthaline and glycopyrrolate are non-selective muscarinic antagonist. So they have more adverse effect. So they were not popular in treatment of peptic ulcer. And apart from non-selective in nature, they increase gastric emptying time, because as we have discussed, they causes relaxation of intestinal muscles. So intestinal muscles are relaxed, so they increase gastric emptying time. Food is remain in stomach for prolonged time, so gastric emptying time is increased, so food will remain in stomach for prolonged time because of the relaxation of intestinal muscles. So when the food will remain in the stomach for prolonged time, so food will stimulate more acid. So this is not favorable for treatment of peptic ulcer. Third important point about propenthaline glycopyrrolate is they are not preferred in reflux esophagitis, because of increased gastric emptying time, food will remain in stomach for prolonged time, and this will increase gastric acid synthesis more. And second thing, they relaxes lower esophageal sphincter tone, and because of reduced LES tone, food will reflux towards mouth. Because of these two reasons, they are not preferred in reflux esophagitis. That's why these two agents, propenthaline and glycopyrrolate, they are no longer used in treatment of peptic ulcer. Okay. Nowadays, selective M1 receptor antagonists are used. These are pyrangiapine and tilenjapine. But in peptic ulcer, they are not the first line of drug. First line of drug in treatment of peptic ulcer is proton pump inhibitor. And other drugs that are more commonly used in peptic ulcer is H2 antihistaminic drug. Other therapeutic use of atropine like drug is antispasmodic. As we have discussed, they relaxes intestinal muscles. So they are used in treatment of intestinal colic. They are used in irritable bowel syndrome, in which we want to relax the intestinal muscles. Dicyclomine is used. Clidinium is the used. Okay. Other organ on which parasympathetic Parasympatholytic agents are used. Atropine-like drug is used. Cardiovascular system. Atropine is available in the ampoule. When one ampoule, atropine is available in the strength of 0.6 milligram. When the atropine is given one ampoule only, they will cause bradycardia. So atropine will cause bradycardia in small dose in one ampoule that contains 0.6 milligram. But at the high dose, it will cause tachycardia. So tachycardia, it can be explained by is a normal phenomena, because in the case of muscarinic action we have discussed, muscarinic action will cause bradycardia, so atropine will cause tachycardia. Even then, atropine is causing bradycardia in the transient phase, in the early phase. What is the reason behind it? Reason is blockade of presynaptic M1 receptor. In the low dose, atropine will antagonize M1 receptor presynaptically located. When they are blocked, they will release acetylcholine, and because of the release of acetylcholine we know very well, they cause bradycardia. But the high dose, they will cause tachycardia. They will inhibit M2 receptor present on cardiac cell. This tachycardia is modest, that is 18 to 20 beat per minute. That is not as much high as sympathetic receptor stimulation, because the cardiac tone is basically sympathetic tone. So even after the inhibition of M2 receptor, the tachycardia produced is not much significant. Heart rate is increased only by 20 beat per minute. This property of tachycardia, basically effect of atropine is on the heart is tachycardia. Bradycardia is produced for a small time. So tachycardia is the main effect of atropine. It is used in certain second degree heart block, because apart from causing tachycardia, they increases the AV conduction velocity, and because of increased conduction velocity, they are used in certain second degree heart block, because in heart block AV conduction is delayed, it is late, that is made fast by atropine. It is also used in sinus tachycardia because it causes tachycardia. In treatment of sinus bradycardia, atropine is given very cautiously, because when the atropine is given in the low dose, it will cause bradycardia that will worsen the bradycardia that is already present. If you give the high dose of atropine, it will increase the oxygen demand in myocardial infarction. So myocardial infarction will worsen. Patient will undergo cardiac arrhythmia. So we will have to use atropine very cautiously in treatment of cardiovascular disorders. The dose should not be very low. The dose should not be very high. In either of the condition, atropine will produce other morbidity. In CNS, what does it produce? Scopolamine causes CNS depression, while atropine causes excitation. This is the reason why scopolamine is used in treatment of motion sickness, because it causes CNS depression. On the other hand, atropine causes excitation. In children, it causes fever, that is called as atropine fever, because of excitation nature. Because of CNS depressant property of scopolamine, it is used in treatment of motion sickness as a transdermal patch. And because of this property, anti-muscarinic drugs are used in treatment of Parkinson disease. As you know, this has been discussed in physiology also last year. Parkinson disease has a typical tremor, rigidity and bradykinesia. Out of these clinical features, tremor and rigidity, these two clinical features are better treated by anti-muscarinic drug. And one important thing to keep remember is some of the drugs causes Parkinsonism, like typical antipsychotic drug, the drug used in treatment of schizophrenia. some of the antipsychotic drug, some of these antipsychotic drugs will cause Parkinson disease. In treatment of this Parkinson, drug induced Parkinson, anti-muscarinic agents are very effective. Otherwise, in Parkinson, levodopa carbidopa therapy is given, but in drug induced Parkinson disease, in drug induced Parkinsonism, anti-muscarinic agents are more effective as compared to levodopa. Which anti-muscarinic agents are used? And these anti-muscarinic agents are used which can cross blood-brain barrier more effectively. These are three. These are very important to keep remember: benhexol, benztropine, and procyclidine. These are the three anti-muscarinic agents that are used in treatment of Parkinson disease that can cross the blood-brain barrier more effectively and used primarily in drug-induced Parkinsonism. They are not so much preferred in idiopathic Parkinsonism. In that idiopathic Parkinsonism, levodopa therapy is more effective. There are some other therapeutic conditions also in which anti-muscarinic drugs are used, like in treatment of mushroom poisoning, in treatment of neostigmine poisoning. Neostigmine is the muscarinic drug, it is the cholinergic drug. In treatment of neostigmine, atropine is used. In treatment of organophosphorus poisoning, as we have discussed in last session, in organophosphorus poisoning, organophosphorus is irreversible anticholinesterase. It causes excessive accumulation of acetylcholine and causes muscarinic manifestation that are counteracted by atropine. Atropine is the specific antidote for organophosphorus poisoning. So we have discussed now the effect of atropine and atropine-like drug. Then we have discussed the therapeutic uses of atropine-like drug. Now in last we are seeing the adverse effect produced by anti-muscarinic drug. There are nothing new in that. What are the effect of atropine-like drug or anti-muscarinic drug? Just opposite to misloved DHR. What is the pharmacological effect of anti-muscarinic drug? Mydriasis, dry mouth, dry ear, dry eye, dry mouth, mydriasis, urine retention, constipation, tachycardia, decreased gastric acid. These are the pharmacological effect of atropine and atropine-like drug. Out of these pharmacological actions, some are useful, which can be used as a therapeutic use, like mydriasis is used in treatment of glaucoma, like constipation is used in irritable bowel syndrome, like urine retention property is used in treatment of urine incontinence, like bronchodilation properties used in treatment of COPD. But out of these pharmacological effects, 6 or 7 which are not desirable in any of the disease, or they are present in such situation in which they are not desired. These are the adverse effect. Like mydriasis, when you give mydriasis to a when you give a anti-muscarinic drug for anti-muscarinic drug for treatment of suppose Parkinson, you will not expect the drug will produce mydriasis, but if the mydriasis is produced, it is the undesired effect, so it is the adverse effect. Because of mydriasis, the patient will feel blurred vision and photophobia will be produced. Because of the pupillary dilatation, more sun rays will go to retina, so the patient will feel very uncomfortable because of the sunlight. So this is photophobia. Patient will feel dryness of mouth, urine retention, constipation. As we have discussed, the patient will precipitate glaucoma, decreased sweating. These are all the explained by pharmacological action. So this is all about anti-muscarinic drug, atropine and atropine like drug. Okay, thank you.